Last Chance U is a show on Netflix. Season 4 just came out. And if you don't know the show, it's a show where a documentary crew follows a junior college football team around. And I love the show. It's one of my favorite shows of all time. I love, BBC, Sherlock Holmes, and Last Chance U. They're my two favorite television shows. And I eat it up. It's like crack. I love them so very much. I can't stop watching once I start. And there are so many lessons you can learn while watching Last Chance U. If you haven't, I recommend it. I'm not going to spoil anything. I just think that you should watch if you get a chance to. It's just a bunch of guys documenting their mistakes. The viewers get a chance to watch and learn from these guys who, just make poor decisions. I mean, the Last Chance U, every season is really, for me, heartbreaking to watch. And the number one thing you see recurring in the show is coaches, players, everybody, people who do not have the mental toughness to handle things going wrong. And I want to be very clear here. I know the optics on what I just said sound bad. I just said that a bunch of guys can't handle when things go wrong. Here's my background. Growing up, my family was homeless at one point. I lived in a mobile home. My brother died 3 years ago. I dropped out of college for a while. Please nobody comment that I don't understand what it's like to struggle. I know I don't want to hear that. I don't. To say that means you don't know who I am. When you watch Last Chance U, so many times guys just lose it. They don't have the emotional and mental maturity to handle the things going on in their lives. They yell, they freak out, they self-sabotage, they screw up, they fall apart, they let the emotion get the best of them. And it's great television. It's also really heartbreaking to watch. And the lesson when you watch Last Chance U to me is that so much of sports is mental. No matter how talented you are, if you don't have the discipline or the mental toughness you need, you're going to have problems. And so many guys on that TV show, which is real, by the way. The show is rich, documenting real lives, real stories. I think that's why it's so good and why sometimes it's so hard to watch, is these are real people making real mistakes. I mean, there's a situation where guys are partying the night before a game and it costs them. Or at one point, the coach tells the quarterback to go in the game, and the kid argues. The kid says, "No, you didn't want me earlier. Why would you want me now?" And it's like, dude, are you kidding me? The kid clearly doesn't understand. If you get a chance to be on the field, go play. Don't argue. Look at that as your opportunity. And so many times, it's just guys losing their heads, man. It's a mess. So I hope people watching understand. If people watching this video right now, if you're listening to me right now, please understand. Bad things happen. You're gonna throw interceptions. You're gonna drop passes. You're gonna miss shots. You're gonna strike out. You can't let it destroy you. You can't let bad moments. I'm not saying you should be comfortable with failure. Like, failure is not great. No one should celebrate failure at all. But you can't lose your head. You can't yell. You shouldn't freak out, get all riled up and emotionally discombobulated because something goes wrong. That's life. That's football. That's sports. That's why I think sports are such a great analogy for life. That's why I try to make as many analogies to real life as I possibly can, because sports is the ultimate analogy for real life. Bad things happen. Your brother might die. Your parents might get divorced. You might live in a mobile home. You might be homeless. Things happen, go wrong all the time. And, you don't want to be the guy who falls apart when things go wrong. I want to be a part of a team that has a lot of mental toughness. I don't want to be with guys who do not fall apart. I want to be with guys who can handle things not going the way they're planned. And, I really think that's the lesson of Last Chance U. If you watch the show, I think you should. I recommend it. It's a great television show. And just take note of all the moments where guys cannot handle bad things going on. Coaches, players, everybody. People seem unable to handle when things go wrong. It takes a lot of maybe emotional maturity. I'm not sure, but there's not an example of that on that show. It's just a mess. Now, the final thing I want to talk about two characters in the show. The coach on the show is named Jason Brown. And, he's a mess. He's constantly yelling, he's bickering, he's complaining all the time about his coaches. He pays really poor attention to detail. He's not the kind of guy I would want to play for at all. And I truly believe Independence Community College is better off now without their old head coach, Jason Brown. Now, you got to respect what he did, right? He did a lot of stuff to kickstart that program and built offices and got recruits in there and got a field and yada, yada. It seems like, he resurrected their program. But I think Independence got away from that coach at about the right time. It's time for them to move on with a newer coach who can take advantage of the changes that Jason Brown made. Now, the last thing I want to say is that Malik Henry, a quarterback, appeared in Season 3 and Season 4. In Season 3, he was a mess. He was all over the place, yelling, screaming, freaking out. Now, maybe he was like that Season 4 and they just didn't portray him very much. Who really knows? But Season 3, Malik Henry was a disaster. And Season 4, he looked a lot more composed. He did walk on at Nevada, and I think it's possible that Malik Henry, the quarterback we saw in Season 3 of Last Chance U, either has grown up or will continue to grow up, and he could find some success down the road. I'm going to follow Malik Henry. I'm really curious. He's at Nevada competing for a starting job. He looked really good in their spring game, and I think he's just worth watching. Maybe, some people do change. It's hard. It takes a lot of work. It's possible Malik Henry, all the crap he went through and being embarrassed on national TV and not getting any, not having any offers and all this stuff, it's very possible that struggle and that hardship, look, he's still got a big ego, still thinks really highly of himself, as most quarterbacks do. Any good quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers, I'm sure, thinks he's a really good quarterback. But it's also possible that in some regards, Malik Henry has matured, and I think people should give him an opportunity to prove that. Maybe he did. Maybe not. Maybe he's a mess still. But I have an open mind about Malik Henry, and it is possible that the kid just went through some crap and took a year and grew up a little bit. And I'm very curious to watch Malik Henry moving forward. Again, the final lesson, if you're watching Last Chance U, it's a great show. Highly recommend it. Pay attention to guys who don't have mental toughness. How often guys self-sabotage. How often guys can't handle bad things going wrong. Learn from their mistakes, and please be better than the guys on that TV show. Please do better. Learn from your mistakes, and don't lose your head if things go wrong and things don't go according to plan. That is just how life is. Things don't always go to plan. Accept it. Move on. Do the very best you can in your life.